How could Tu Youyou deceive the Nobel Prize and the Lasker Foundation Award in Medicine? Lecture 6. Tu Youyou obtained an illegal certificate of invention of the new drug Artemisinin in an improper way, thereby snatching the intellectual property rights from other 523 project scientists. 2015 Nobel Prize in Medicine winner Tu Youyou was an academic cheater and a liar. She was not the essential contributor of 523 project to fund the new antimalarial drug Artemisinin. That the Chinese Ministry of Health selected her as a Nobel Prize candidate was in an attempt to bring the best political propaganda for the Chinese traditional medicine. As a matter of fact, Tu Youyou had made the biggest academic cheating scandal in the world scientific history. From November 23rd to 29th, 1978, the China 523 Project Office held an antimalarial research results evaluation conference in Yangzhou. Leaders from the Ministry of Health, Science and Technology Commission, Army Logistics Department, and related provinces and cities, large pharmaceutical factories, and editors from major medical journals attended the conference. The total number of participants was 104. Historically, this was an extremely important conference because the birth certification of new drug Artemisinin was issued in this conference. A special antimalarial research evaluation committee was formed in the conference, whose members were experts from prestigious medical research institutes and major pharmaceutical companies. All 523 antimalarial teams should submit their research results to the committee for the scoring evaluation. Yunnan team submitted the research for Huanghaosu, including producing method and clinical trial statistics. Shandong and Beijing Tu Youyou's team also submitted their research for Huanghuahaosu and Qinghaosu too, respectively. The evaluation committee gave Yunnan's Huanghaosu an outstanding score. We partially copy in the following. In the end of 1974, crystal Huanghaosu was used curing 18 malaria cases, including 14 falciparum cases. In this clinical trial, Huanghaosu showed its stronger and faster efficacy against malaria than chloroquine, first time in history. In 3 years National Joint Anti-Malaria Clinical Trials, Huanghaosu was used curing 2,099 malaria cases, including 588 falciparum cases. Particularly, there were 143 falciparum cases that failed chloroquine treatment, but successfully cured by using Huanghaosu. At last, the evaluation committee gave the conclusion that Huanghaosu was a new anti-malaria drug. This is equivalent to give the birth certification to Artemisinin. The evaluation committee gave Shandong Wel Zhenxing's crystal Huanghuahaosu a good score. We copy partially in the following. In May 1974, Shandong Institute of Traditional Medicine used crystal Huanghuahaosu to cure 19 vivax malaria cases. The clinical trial showed that Huanghuahaosu was effective against China Northern Area vivax malaria disease and no apparent side effects. Although there was no falciparum malaria cases treated by Huanghuahaosu in the clinical trial, but the committee believed that Huanghuahaosu and Huanghaosu were most likely the same crystals. The evaluation committee gave Tu Youyou's crystal Qinghaosu 2 a very bad score. We partially copy in the following. From September to October 1973, the Beijing Institute of Traditional Medicine conducted the clinical trial in Hainan Changjiang area by using Qinghaosu 2 crystal. Among 8 malaria cases, 3 vivax cases were cured. 2 falciparum cases were ineffective. 2 falciparum cases were terminated because of the cardiotoxic side effects of the crystal Qinghaosu 2. Only 1 falciparum cases were effective, but the parasites came back in day 6. In 1974, the Tu Youyou team did not conduct the required clinical trial and stopped to produce crystal Qinghaosu 2. The evaluation committee also said, based on the failure of Tu Youyou's team, other teams changed the source from medicinal Qinghao to collected Artemisia annua and abandoned the ether method. Like a Chinese proverb said, failure is a mother of success. Therefore, the committee said that the Tu Youyou team's research work should be considered as a pioneer in exploration of artemisinin, although they failed to obtain the pure artemisinin crystal and clinical trials. In September 1979, the Invention Certificate of new drug Artemisinin was awarded to 6 institutions by the China Sciences and Technology Commission. The right picture is a copy of this invention certification. The certification awarded recipients had Lu Zheyuan, Wel Zhenxing, and Tu Youyou's institutions. Now let's take a close look in this certification. On the very top, it has 4 Chinese characters. 发明证书 means invention certificate. Then we can see the invention item is new antimalarial drug, Artemisinin. Then list 6 institutions as inventors. At last, we can see the issue time was September 1979. To award the Shandong team was because they produced Huanghuahaosu, which was Artemisinin. To award the Yunnan team was because they produced Huanghaosu, which was Artemisinin too. To award the Beijing Biophysics and Shanghai Organic Chemistry teams was because they determined the organic molecular structure of Artemisinin together. To award Guangzhou Traditional Medical College team was because conducting the successful antimalarial clinical trials by using Huanghuahaosu at the crucial and difficult time. However, to award Tu Youyou's institute was because their failure becomes lessons in the exploration of Artemisinin. The Beijing Institute of Chinese Medicine participated in the 523 project was on behalf of the Ministry of Health, which represented the highest drug research level in China, and supposed to found a new antimalarial drug Artemisinin before other research teams. However, it was defeated by two provincial institutions in Yunnan and Shandong during the research competition, but the Ministry of Health was the largest department of the Chinese State Council. Therefore, to award Tu Youyou's Beijing Institute of Traditional Medicine was the political compromise between Ministry of Health and others. On October 15, 1979, the Chinese Communist Party's organization newspaper People's Daily reported the Invention Award for anti-malaria new drug Artemisinin for 6 research institutions. The following is a copy from the newspaper People's Daily, or in Chinese 人民日报. People's Daily was so important in China because it representing the voice of Chinese Communist Party. That means the Communist Party recognized that the invention of new drug Artemisinin belonged to 6 institutions. In April 1986, the China Minister of Health proposed that new drug approval power should belong to the Ministry of Health in a People's Congress meeting, and the proposal was passed in this meeting. In July 1986, the Ministry of Health announced a law document, New Drug Approval Measures, whose Chinese title is 新药审批办法. In the first line of this document, it clearly wrote the definition of new drug. 新药系指未曾在中国境内外上市销售的药品. Translated to English, new drugs are defined as drugs that have never been marketed in China and abroad. However, in October 1986, Tu Youyou obtained another drug certificate of Artemisinin from Ministry of Health. The following picture is a copy of this certificate. Let's take a closer look on this picture. On the top, there were 4 Chinese characters. 新药证书 means new drug certificate. Then we can see the research name was the Institute of Chinese Traditional Medicine. The next was the item name, new drug Artemisinin. At last, we can see the time was October 3rd, 1986. Let's compare 2 certificates. The title of 1979 document was Invention Certificate. The title of 1986 document was New Drug Certificate. The title name was not essential. The invention item of 1979 certificate was New Antimalarial Drug Artemisinin. The new drug of 1986 certificate was also Artemisinin. Therefore, the main contents of 2 certificates were essentially the same. However, there were 6 research units in 1979 certificate, but only Tu Youyou's unit was kept in 1986 certificate. Therefore, we can say those two certificates were exactly the same except changed 6 research units to Tu Youyou 1 unit. Let's listen how Tu Youyou said about this 1986 certificate in her Nobel Prize speech.
1986年，青蒿素获得了卫生部新药证书。
In the above video, Tu Youyou said, in 1986, Artemisinin obtained the new drug certificate from China Ministry of Health. Here, Tu Youyou intentionally not to mention who obtained the new drug certification, while Tu Youyou avoided to say that Artemisinin was already obtained the new drug certificate in 1979, which was 7 years before this certificate. Actually, this certificate was illegal, which was made by Tu Youyou through an improper way. However, the 1979 certificate was an award from China Science and Technology Commission. Why this certificate was illegal? Reason 1. In 1986, the drug Artemisinin was not a new drug anymore. From document, new drug approval measures regulated by Ministry of Health, we can read, new drugs are defined as drugs that have never been marketed in China and abroad. However, in 1986, the drug Artemisinin was produced by Kunming and Guilin Pharmaceutical Factories for more than 10 years. Therefore, Artemisinin was not a new drug, and this certificate was violated to the law document New Drug Approval Measures. Why this certificate was illegal? Reason 2. This certificate invaded the intellectual property rights from other 523 project scientists. The 6 winners of 1979's Artemisinin certificate were determined by a special committee consisted of prestigious scientists. The committee said there was no ranking among winners, and everyone shared the equal intellectual property rights. Therefore, Tu Youyou completely removed all other 5 research units from the certificate, was actually deprived their intellectual property rights. Why this certificate was illegal? Reason 3. Tu Youyou used the cheating way to get 26 related parameters data for the application. According to the document, New Drug Approval Measures, every new drug must have 26 related parameters for the application. After 523 project was finished in 1981, all official documents were transferred to the Ministry of Health. Although those documents were still classified, but Tu Youyou had authorized privileged access to all files. Tu Youyou simply copied all 523 project data to make 26 parameters for her application without doing any experiments. That was an academic cheating. why this certificate was illegal. Reason 4. Tu Youyou bribed the staffs who were in charge of application for new drug certificate. According to our investigation, Tu Youyou's first application for new drug Artemisinin was rejected because Artemisinin was not a new drug. Then Tu Youyou bribed the staffs who were in charge of application process. She promised to pay them big money later. After obtaining the certificate, Tu Youyou forced Kunming and Guilin Pharmaceutical Factories to pay her big money for Artemisinin production permission. Then she could pay the bribery. We appeal the Lasker Foundation and Nobel Prize Committee to conduct a complete investigation on 2 new drug Artemisinin certificates in 1979 and 1986. Due to their contradictory, only one could be legal. If you found that Tu Youyou's 1986 certificate was illegal, please withdraw her 2011 Lasker Award and the 2015 Nobel Prize as soon as possible. Do not let Tu Youyou tarnish the purity of Lasker Award and the Nobel Prize. More Tu Youyou's cheating material will come later. Bye-bye.